Hi.
What's up, man?
Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you, bro.
Cool, man.
Wow. It's been a while. We've been talking for a while, huh?
Yeah. I've been very grateful for your communications.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Same-mindedness. Yeah. I have these little electric fridges that 2 companies sent me. They fit underneath my bed, and like for a review. And I still haven't shot the video yet. One of them's like, they're the exact same product, but one of them's like way overpriced, and one of them's only $150. Okay. So it's like the one that's $150. I'm like, that's
from the same company.
Well, they're just they're manufactured by the same Chinese company, and then these like American companies are buying them and then remarketing them, putting their own names on them.
Got it.
But what I'm trying to think of is how to set an example. Like everything I'm trying to do is just like set examples, and they might not necessarily be for me type thing. Like, have you seen the most recent video?
The inventions?
Inventions, yeah.
I saw that.
And like the majority of them, like they're not for me. They're like the wagon is for me right now. I really like the wagon, but the wearable shelters and stuff like that are more for people that maybe have pack goats or something, or going up into stuff. They're not wanting to concentrate on their local food security with small farms and wagons, which is like where I'm trying to lead this wagon example. But anyway, the point is that one of the ideas that I'm working on right now to at least just set the example and make a video out of it, and then I can leave it type thing, is how to integrate these super small portable refrigerators and freezers that fit. They're made to fit in cars, and you can hook them up to solar panels, and you can put the whole thing together for the fridges are $150, and the solar panels, like I'm finding out, there's a vast difference in the overpricing and reasonable pricing of the different brands, and finding that out and trying to find out a package that's reasonable enough for other people to replicate, and use dairy animals to convert it into what I'm finding to be the most valuable and resellable form of that milk, which is ice cream. Because people, obviously that's like the most enticing.
Whose dog is that?
Yeah. Ma'am, can you call your dog?
He's dead. Sorry. He's dead.
We have sheep on this property, you know that.
Come on.
And they're oftentimes out in the yard. We appreciate you.
Come on. Come on.
I know he's nice with other dogs, but it's always pretty questionable how their instincts will kick in with prey animals. Thank you. I've only seen her like a couple times, and I've asked her before. They don't care until it's Luckily, I haven't had a problem because I've always been right there and able to like run in between my, or ask them to put their dogs on a leash before their dogs see my sheep and start chasing them. All those ideas are things that are literally inventions that no one has created, and I'm offering it for people to market,
Right.
like for them to make jobs out of, because everyone's like, oh, I'm sick of this shitty job, or I don't have a job, or I don't have a purpose. Well, all of them are like really useful things that like could give you purpose if you were interested in like manufacturing them or DIYing them and reselling them ideally. They're all really simple things. The only thing that I can't really haven't learned how to DIY yet is electronic stuff, like the refrigerators and stuff. But I'm looking into that stuff that I'm not using.
Mic you up. How could we do this?
I don't know, because I'm about to take off my shirt.
Oh, okay.
It's starting to get when the sun comes out. I've been shirtless. I don't know if that's gonna be hopefully all right for your viewers, because
I don't think it's an
plan on
issue.
taking a shower today. It's been a couple days and I'm pretty dirty, but
Okay.
so I don't know how you're gonna do it with the mic. You can clip it to my necklace if you want. I don't know if I ever told you that I was subscribed to Business Insider's channel before you even contacted me.
Oh, really?
And I don't think I keep meaning to wonder if I mentioned that. Yeah, you guys got some really cool shit, really cool content.
Okay, I think that this setup could work. If we get you interacting with other people, I might switch over to my shotgun mic so I can get their sound.
Oh yeah, I forgot this was even on.
What I was thinking was we could start the day like just you know, showing, like, doing the tour of stuff that, all the stuff that you use, like, every day.
So this is the, these are the 2 companies that I wrote and asked if they wanted to send me their fridges for a review. And this one's only 150 bucks. This one's like $229. And they're the exact same thing. It's ridiculous.
And how are you powering them at the moment?
I've got them plugged into my friend's outlet here. This is my battery. And then I have that solar panel that I bought that's not quite adequate enough. And I'm having to use Ziploc bags in order to like fit everything in here. And he's going to be taking at least a gallon today, so that's going to free up some space. These are the only, with the Ziploc bags, they hold like 3 to 4 gallons, but with my jars, like that, if I had a couple more of these, this size jar, I could fit 3 of them in there, and that's only a half gallon, so I could fit at least twice as much if I use Ziploc bags. And if I use gallon Ziploc bags and don't fill them up as far as a gallon, then I can layer them in there like perfectly, and they like, there's no dead air space basically. So here's my ice cream mold.
Oh, wow. Hold on. Let me see.
And I got some meat that somebody traded me yesterday. A sheep farmer traded me some meat yesterday. She wanted cheese though.
So what's in that ice cream right now?
That is just salt, maple syrup, and sprouted pecans. My friend traded me. They brought me maple syrup and pecans for the ice cream. So that's, and it's sprouted pecans. It's from like the co-op. So it's really amazing. It's the best, and it's raw. It's raw milk. It's I don't think I've ever tried raw ice cream before, like in a store. It's amazing. Like, yeah. If you want to try some, I think that it's important to figure out how to package these for people. I still haven't packaged them. They have like these little bags, and I think that I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. I'm going to eat that meat today. I got some elderberries I traded from someone that I'm going to make the next batch of ice cream with.
Cool.
I'm going to use this local honey back here on the shelf, and this person's elderberries.
That'd be great to get you cooking.
Yeah.
Are you going to put it in your solar cooker?
Yeah. That solar cooker is so freaking amazing. I love it. If I take these packages out, if I take these popsicles out and I package all of them, I can line them up where my meat is right now and where the elderberries is underneath. Mm-hmm. But then when I go to reload this with, I need to close it. When I go to reload that with new milk, mm-hmm. It's going to drop the temperature of the whole freezer for like an hour.
Right.
And so I hope that it doesn't melt the ice cream in the packages. I don't think it will, especially if I don't think it will. I don't know. I'm learning how someone could juggle this. But yeah, that cream separator right there, I need to. I had it bolted to my my wagon. I need to unbolt it today because it's like 15 pounds unnecessary, and I need to resell that because I just learned how to separate cream from goat and sheep milk, which doesn't naturally separate. Mm-hmm. Because I found out just by freezing this milk that the cream freezes last. Like the water components of it and the like skim milk freezes first, and then when you're thawing it back out, the cream thaws out first. So you can pour it off. And so the cream separator is completely unnecessary, and it's unwashable by people in a wagon because we don't have access to copious amounts of hot water. We can use soap and cold water all day long, and it's not going to get that shit clean. Beautiful.
How'd it go?
It looks like 8. Not a very good ratio, but that's because I'm using cream, and I think that cream is, it's not freezing rock solid like the regular whole milk. My sheep realize I'm gone, so we're gonna have to not do cream. Dude, these cream popsicles, these are too good. Honestly, like it'll ruin people. It's super melty because it's pure cream.
Okay. Hold on. So let me get a shot of this.
Dude, it's so amazing. It's ridiculous. Yeah. It's too good. So, and that's a more process intensive, separating the cream
Grab my other
by pouring it off.
camera.
So,
Before I'm gonna get my reaction right off the bat. Remind me what's in this?
it's just cream. There's no milk in it. It's just sheep cream and salt, maple syrup, a little bit of maple syrup because sheep milk's so sweet naturally, and sprouted pecans.
Okay.
So it's maple pecan.
Okay.
It's a lot richer than most ice cream.
It's less sweet. It's less sweeter.
I barely put any maple syrup in it. It's higher butterfat.
It has a nice saltiness to it too.
Yeah, I put enough
Yeah.
salt in it to give it like a caramel flavor. Maybe too much, but I felt like it was ended up making it caramelly flavored.
And now, according to your lifestyle and philosophy, pretty much everything that goes into this would have come from,
Not this.
presumably,
Well, not this batch.
not the maple syrup.
Yeah, because someone brought me the maple syrup and the pecans from the co-op, and so I utilize what isn't local first to get rid of it, so that I can get back to like a baseline of local stuff, and because I appreciate
I could absolutely see somebody paying money for this.
Yeah, for sure. And the if I just use the milk and not the cream, then it will stay frozen like a normal popsicle.
Right.
Normal ice cream is.
But because it's buttercream, it's like very.
It
it's
won't
more
freeze.
rich.
You have to
more rich.
you have to drop it down to like
Look, I finished the whole thing.
0 temperature.
Finish it. What
And
do
do
you
it?
do with this?
Yeah, that's part of the and why I'm not going to stay here. I'm just going to make a video of it, show it as a possibility, and then other people can work out their versions of it that they want. But this is not sustainable at all. Like the fucking fridges aren't sustainable. Like as soon as I make
Is that your benchmark?
what of what I want to do, yeah, for sure, yeah.
Like it has to be something that has very little energy inputs.
It has to be able to be continued on after shit hits the fan. I'm
Okay.
like above anything, I'm a shit hitting the fan pre-enactment living.
We have to
Instead of
yeah,
reenactment.
and we have to spend a lot of time talking about that because I think that means different things to different people, and I think it would be helpful if you can articulate what it means to you.
My definition of shit hitting the fan is a total artificial economy collapse.
Okay.
And yeah, because you're right. With this last in this last year or so, I've noticed that when I type out the acronym "shit hitting the fan," I've gotten increasingly more responses back that say, "Shit already hit the fan." I'm like, bro. There's
get
still
so much
fucking
work.
food on the
Right.
goddamn shelves. People aren't killing each other over food.
Right.
Hi guys. I think you guys came on like the second hottest day of the
I
season.
was just gonna say, I can't believe how warm it is. Is it always like this? And you've been working in this weather?
I've just been hanging out in the back of the property,
Sweating.
away from and we ran out of water, so we came up to the shade of this tree. Because now that the sun is past that, we seek shade under this tree when we're here, because it's the best.
This is not normal?
No, it's not. It's not normal.
Oh, it's not?
It's by
Okay.
far. Yesterday was the first 100. It was 105 degrees yesterday. I don't know what it is today, but I bet it's
We've
almost.
seen 101 on this thing. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe more, but we just came in, so.
It's not quite as hot as it was yesterday, but it's pretty hot. Yeah.
It is hot.
Yeah.
How you deal with
It feels really, really cool right now because I just
it's-
spritzed myself down and spritzed the sheep down. Because we came up to fill up waters and to fill up the shower so we could spray down. Because the sheep drank like 2 gallons of water in like 2 hours back there. It was
Oh
ridiculous.
my gosh.
You wanna
Okay,
hang
so
on
we can just
here?
hang it on that. Yeah, it works.
What do you guys do with that?
We started off in 2006, just thinking back when green was kind of the word, but it was sustainability, right? Your idea. It was Nico's idea. And it was tools for sustainability. That was the wording we came up with, right?
Yeah, we were trying to figure out if there was, the need of kind of like explaining more niche alternative ways of just dealing with things that were coming and were becoming more and more apparent. It's like this meme. You see this person kind of like with fire around, and it's holding like a mug and saying, everything is all right, right? And you see the fire around. So we've had like a personal moment like that, and we said, well, Kirsten is on TV, doing
I
stuff
used to
for
work in television.
TV, and I was into writing stuff, so we were trying to just kind of make work.
Probably didn't really know exactly what it was going to be. We just started, and then we started doing stories that we liked. I think finding people that were interesting to us. So it was less corporate and less products and less mainstream media will miss those stories sometimes.
Yes.
Because Aaron, right, you tried to get into other.
Yeah, I contacted several people and no one even responded. I really appreciated you guys responding back.
And it took us a while because the first time we sort of missed it. You see, with the kids and stuff, we almost made it through the area, and then the second time we did.
You guys are busy and you guys got a family. It's understandable.
But we usually do. Sometimes it takes us a while, and I talk to people sometimes for years before we do stories. So
Cool. And now it's becoming more. Now people understand that you can make these work somehow. At the beginning, we were actually living off savings. We were just doing journalism, basically.
Yeah, stories.
Grassroots journalism, just with no income for a long time.
Yeah.
And then things happened, organically. But let's say they don't happen.
Yeah.
We would still be having more or less the same lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that means
But we were just trying a lot of
working
stories
on it.
that we didn't really know it was going to work. I mean, at the beginning, I was just looking at. I'd done video, so I thought, well, we'll do video with the website we're starting, and we were living in Barcelona, and it was like, well, there's these people making interesting clothing, and there's this and that, and the tiny house thing happened to be right. Jake Schaefer, who was doing first sort of gable roof tiny houses of this, at least modern times, tiny house movement, lived right near my parents, so we just stopped in, and when we were visiting them, and
we went to a wedding for a friend of Kirsten's in New York City, and there was this person living in this micro apartment.
I've seen that video.
But
Liz
actually,
Cohen.
micro apartment wasn't a word, I don't think, in the U.S. Micro piso in Spanish was. So I was thinking, well, they were doing stories in Spain on micro pisos that were just tiny little apartments. And I thought, why isn't anyone doing that in New York? I know there's tiny apartments in New York. So I talked to this woman, Felice, who, and then we just called it, I think you called it the micro apartment. And then, it sort of, other people started doing stories, but I don't think people were making videos on those kind of things.
Now you have channels like Never Too Small that are huge, doing basically
the same thing. Yeah.
sort of like a clean spin-off of all that, So
So what I'm gathering is that you guys are really finding those people who are trying to lower their impact, but in like ways that do not make their lives totally suck.
Yeah. I think that was one of the early things that we found even with tiny houses, people saying, actually, I like this. I want this because, living with less and living smaller and having less things, it sort of also declutters the mind, right? So this is making me happier. I feel better about this.
Just two last questions. One was, first of all, what was your audience's reaction to Aaron in the first video? And then why did you guys decide to come back and spend a little more time with him?
People were really positive. I mean,
I was
YouTube is always has negatives, so there's always going to be some. But overall, it was really positive. Yeah.
And we have to, and that in that particular video, I don't think there was. I think there was a respect.
Yeah.
You could feel that was across the board.
Yeah.
So and that's something that happens organically. There's nobody moderating that. That's self-awareness, right? That happens collectively.
And I think a lot of times people recognize when something feels too forced or too, or is he really living like that, or does he go home somewhere else? And I think it felt real. So I think people felt like, wow, this guy's really doing this, and
Well, that's also why I wanted to do this story also, because after I saw him on your channel and then I looked at his channel, you could see things that are dated to 10 years ago that are obviously real incidences in your life. It's kind of like adds legitimacy, like this isn't a made up thing.
Right.
So
Or it's not something that's just going to last 6 months. Sometimes you see, we have seen some people and, they've moved into a trailer or something, or a van life thing, and you think, well, and sometimes they're honest about it not being that long, but yeah, you can kind of
we met a family years ago. Kirsten just did that video. I wasn't even there, but actually the boat ended up sinking.
Oh God! Right after we filmed it, true.
Sinking, and there was a little tragedy, family tragedy. Stuff happens, and you see things. It's hard to kind of like balance. You don't want to bank on tragedy, and at the same time, you don't want to kind of paint things too rosy. Instagrammable life has it's a double sword phenomenon.
Yeah.
But I don't think that Aaron's like you're not an Instagram kind of person. You're not doing it for that.
I tried to figure out Instagram. It's too oversimplified. It seems like it's hard to like connect with people and find people, and it didn't seem like Facebook seemed way more, and I already knew Facebook and YouTube were too. I don't think I could do more than 2 social networks.
It happens the same to us.
We haven't tried on anything else.
So the last question: why did you guys decide to come back and pay Aaron another visit?
I mean, I think for the same reason. I think we felt like he's actually really living this way, so his life is probably going to keep evolving, and he keeps trying new things. And so there's going to be a story that continues, rather than somebody just saying, "Oh, I moved into this, whatever," and it's kind of maybe more two-dimensional.
And also, sometimes it feels, for example, you make a story, and then that story becomes popular, and some people just may say, "Well, that's the end of it." Actually, it's not. I mean, if you are making friends, you have to, sometimes you just go and say hello, right?
And I guess you've probably, how many videos does the channel have now? Hundreds, probably.
Over 1,000.
Wow.
Over 1,000 videos. So like,
wow.
Does Aaron fit into a category compared to other people?
You know what? We are the concept itinerancy comes because.
Well, we're sort of working on a book right now, trying to kind of put things a little bit into chapters and kind of conceptual ideas, and so you'll be in, if you're interested,
totally.
in more itinerancy, right?
Itinerancy meaning why
sort of modern nomad.
Yeah, why talking about something that can be very narrowing? If it's itinerancy can be somebody just walking on the road, but also can be somebody having, camper. But it's also a way of looking into the reality of.
But as far as like anybody else, like there's nobody else doing what Aaron's. I mean, there's no nomadic shepherds that I know of, or we haven't done any videos on. So I think you're quite.
Do you guys have any farm hands or anything like?
I mean, we've done stuff. There's some woofers on farms because we've done
That's
organic or permaculture farms and stuff, and there've been people who are we're a little more nomadic out with.
So what Aaron is doing is so amazing that actually Lloyd Kahn, which is kind of like. He was doing basically the housing sort of section for the whole Earth catalog for a while, and created Shelter Publication back in the 70s. And he actually emailed Kirsten saying, "I watched that video and
I want Aaron for my book, right? Did he contact you about?
I just need to contact Aaron for this book."
Yeah.
Wow. Because and he then wrote Aaron saying, "I want to put your car against these $100,000 camper vans." Because yours beats the others in different ways.
Yeah, people were, I think, really.
Thank you for giving him the email. He did a great job.
Did he?
Yeah, he did a great job.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a person that who is mentioned in the in the Henry Ford Museum in
Lloyd Kahn.
Lloyd Kahn in Detroit, right?
Yeah. He was the dome guy or something in the 70s on Time magazine cover even.
He's still around.
He's done all these experimental.
Not only that he's still around,
cool.
is that he's checking on some of the videos to kind of like make sure he's not missing
We've done a couple of videos with him, and he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's
80s somewhere now.
80s something.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we can cut there. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you guys.
to be here at the same time.
It is funny. Isn't
Totally.
it?
Yeah, thank you guys for doing what you
Thank
do. That was really cool
you.
listening to
Yeah.
your guys' story and what you
No,
guys
it's great.
is doing is
It's great.
beautiful.
Yeah, and I'd love
thank
to.
you.
I don't know if there's stuff that I can use, like just like I did last time off your
Sure.
YouTube channel.
Anything you want on there, yeah, anything you
I'm
want.
looking at the donkey. I'll pull that too.
Yeah.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you guys.
I'll start putting stuff.
All right.
Well, Daniel.
See you, man. I'll be in
Have
touch.
safe travels.
Thank you. I'll shoot you an email.
So good too.
Yeah. Whenever you guys settle down for a homestead, dairy sheep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is the map that I made of all the fruit and nut trees in Ashland, Oregon. It had a key, had 2 pages of the number key on the front here. There's 1 through 57 or something like that plants.
In other words, in the very suburban area of Ashland, if you were to walk around and use this map, you'd know where the trees are that produce edible food.
Yeah, and they're all publicly accessible, so they're like, they might be on private property, but they're overgrowing the sidewalk, so that you can collect off the ground on the sidewalk.
So why did you undertake that project?
It took me 5 years to make this, because I saw it as a necessary thing for local food security, for myself first of all, and then after they banned my sheep and I from walking through town, I was like, well, I don't need this anymore, so I put it for free up on my website. And here's the survival credit card. This is the first project that I actually felt called to complete, and this took me 10 years.
Can you flip through it so
Yeah.
the camera can see it and just
It took me 10 years because I was...
What is the concept?
The concept is I originally made this as a survival guide for my parents to put in their wallets so that they'd never leave home without it, and because they didn't believe that poop was going to hit the fan, and I thought that it was, and so I wanted them to have this in case. So I originally just made it like all the wild edibles that I knew that were most foolproof for them, and I didn't even take my own photos for the first one. I didn't include the nutritional information, and it was a selfish survival guide back then, and since then I have taken all the pictures for it, and I have expanded it to what I call a community survival guide.
So just quickly run through what's in there as you leaf through.
Yeah, the order of pages is really important. I felt like the simplified constitutional rights list was the most important thing to know.
Why?
First. Because in a post-apocalyptic situation, you're probably going to stand the chance of there being like some kind of a police state, and I want people to be able to stand up for their rights so that we don't have totalitarianism, because that's more of a threat to everyone's lives than their neighbors robbing and pillaging them.
Do you feel like that? Do you feel like that's playing out already? Because I feel that that's one of the things that comes up a lot these days, is people talking about
Poop hitting the fan?
no, well, yes, but more specifically government control expanding.
Yeah, on both sides. Like you got the right wing people thinking that the left wing government is going to create totalitarianism, and you got the left wing people thinking that the right wing government is going to start totalitarianism. So, yeah, totally.
What else is in here?
Second page is survival water filter. How to this is my design. I haven't seen anyone else do this. Use the bottom of the 2-liter pop bottle to make a pre-filter, because you have to clean the rocks that you're getting from the creek. Unless your creek is crystal clear, it's going to have dirt in the sand, so you have to wash that dirt. So I suggest that you use the bottom of the 2-liter.
Yeah. And then what else
to
is
help
in there?
pre-filter the sand before pouring it in there. The third page is an overview of the most common wild edible stuff before you start getting into specific plants. This has a list of edible flowers, the edible bugs, and then it has like a lot of little rules, like all grasses are edible, all compound. How did I word it? All compound berries, like raspberries and mulberries, anything that looks like that. There's no poisonous lookalikes. And then it has a list of the edible tree leaves. Yeah. And
So and then there's a few pages of wild
specific,
edibles, right?
yeah. And then I tried to. These were the ones that I, after foraging for years, had come to find were the most foolproof, and that grew coast to coast everywhere across the United States, except for the desert and the high mountainous regions and stuff like that. But all the urban areas are going to have these wild edibles. There's like 14 of them in here.
And what else? But besides the edibles, what's the? I looked at it, but remind me the last sections.
I compare each wild edible to its domesticated counterpart with the nutritional information. So, like wild broccoli here is more than twice as nutritious in vitamin A as domesticated broccoli. And I compare lamb's quarter to spinach, chicory to arugula. These aren't in the same family, but they're the closest thing to a vegetable that we grow and that we're
Right. Something that people would be familiar with.
This is in the same family. Common mallow is in the same family as okra. Okra is the domesticated counterpart to mallow. So I compared their nutritional information, so you can see that it's got better calories. Actually, it's got less calories, 14 less calories, and it's got the same carbs. And it's actually got, I was very honest with this, it's got actually less, common mallow has 5 grams less protein. But then some of them, like amaranth, I compared to brown rice, obviously not in the same family, but amaranth beats out brown rice in most of those categories. And this is what I ate the other day for your camera, the purslane. Mm-hmm. And I compare that to spinach. It's a great substitute for spinach.
But these are things that there's not a lot of calories in any of these things.
Exactly, and that's when I started getting into where are we going to get our calories consistently, and that's when I found out about the Heifer Organization, their findings, their scientific studies, finding that the dairy animals were by far the most calorically net positive way of producing your own calories.
One question I wanted to ask you is if things don't ever get that bad, would you be happy, or would you feel like a certain part how would you feel? What if things
I wasted my time or something like that?
Yeah.
If crap doesn't hit the fan, I'm going to continue to have some form of dairy pet, and I'm going to continue to do farm handing or bartering for my food because it feels better. Domestication is like knocks down your self-esteem, whether you're willing to admit it or not.
Can you define domestication?
Being dependent on someone else for your sustenance, and monetary slavery is a more extreme way of looking at it. So if anyone who's a slave is not going to feel as good about themselves and their situation.
And you feel free.
Freer, yeah, for sure. I don't think that I'm undomesticated or anything like that. I like the term rewilding. It helps communicate that it's an ongoing process, and that and really that none of us are really going to achieve undomestication if the people that we surround ourselves with aren't also undomesticated, because it's the crabs in the bucket mentality. Have you heard of that?
No.
If you put crabs in a bucket, they will all try to get out independently, and if one starts making headway and getting out ahead of all the rest, they'll actually gang up on that one and pull it back down. And so it's called the crabs in the bucket mentality, and it's all due to insecurities in the same way that humans, we humans tend to make the lives of others more difficult if we're jealous of them. And so if there is nobody who's going to be rewilded without receiving a lot of resistance. That's what's happened to every saint and sage in the past. Gandhi, Christ, they all said that you get ignored at first, and then you get laughed at, and then they fight against you, and then if you continue to persevere, then you win.
Do you feel like you're on that path?
Yeah, I signed up for that from the beginning. I knew right away that when I started diverging from the norm, and in a way that was trying to better myself, that I was going to be viewed as a crab in the bucket. And that's actually why I drew the picture. Have you seen my crabs in the bucket, my anti-crabs in the bucket picture? I'll show it to you. More realistically, what I'm doing is I'm like a crab in a bucket who's like clawing at the bottom of the bucket, trying to dig my way out. And everyone's like standing around like, what the hell is he doing? Should we try to stop him? No one knows what I'm doing, but they don't understand it or overstand it. But
because I feel like someone like Gandhi, like his mission was sort of very like political organizing.
Yeah.
And or like Jesus was like teaching people about like spiritual concepts. So I'm just
wondering. He was teaching them how to leave Babylon, how to leave that game, how to leave climbing up the side of the bucket, and both of them were teaching how to claw out the bottom.
In other words, to move away from
materialism, and your attachment to those things. Which, if you're attached to those things, then you're subsequently attached to everyone else's expectations, and that's why Christ said that in order to follow me, you have to hate your mother, your father, your brother, and your sister. It's not actually hate. It's you have to forego caring so much about what they think if you want to follow the Holy Spirit, is what he was suggesting.
And then, so does that mean like does that sort of help define what spirituality is for you?
Yeah.
How does that? How would you define it for yourself?
I don't think you can really define my spirituality, except for saying that I'm a follower of Christ and not a Christian, is what I tell people. I'm a follower of the same spirit that was leading Christ. That's more accurate. But Christians don't even like that. They don't like, that's like blasphemy. You have to say that you are following Christ, not following the Holy Spirit. Because then like, which Holy Spirit are you following? It's the Holy Spirit. How do we know that it's the same Holy Spirit that Christ was, and they just, you have to use the word Jesus and Christ, even though the word Jesus is only 400-year-old name, and that wasn't his name. And if you don't use that name, then they're just like, think that you're against their religion or something like that. So, yeah, we're getting into some really interesting stuff. This is after the individual plants, we have optimal energy eating, because every ounce or every calorie will count.
And the whole idea is that this is something that's portable.
You'll never have to leave home without it if you put it in your wallet. Yeah, and that's why the old slogan of MasterCard.
Don't leave home without it.
Yep, and so I called it Disaster Card instead of MasterCard.
Hold on, let me get a shot.
Disaster Card.
Got it.
And then the next page is vegetable crop preserving. You need to have the easiest way to preserving some of these things that you're foraging, and over the winter time. And this is the simplified version. It's the jar within the jar that I'm very grateful to have, come across that people were doing that, because that page is really going to be important. Nature's Medicine Cabinet is kind of an overview, kind of like the familiar wild edible plants, or the familiar edible plant page previously. This is an overview of natural medicine, Nature's Medicine Cabinet. So it's like all-purpose cleaner. Says crushed wood, charcoal, and water can be used as an antimicrobial wash, first aid poultice, poison oak poultice for your son. We got poison oak yesterday. Poison control elixir, mouthwash, or emergency toothpaste / brush using your finger.
Nice. Wood
ash can be used periodically as a natural tooth whitener, and topically to help stop a bleeding wound. It actually helps to constrict blood vessels.
Oh wow, it's 6 already. So the doctor should be coming in a while.
Okay.
I had another question,
sure.
Which is,
you want me to finish? There's only 2 more pages.
Oh, what are they?
So the next page is survival Spanish. This took me the longest because I don't know.
Why was that something you decided to include?
Because we're sharing a border with Mexico, and we got a lot of people who live here.
So like, what are some of the
Spanish.
phrases in there that you included?
Yeah, this was really hard for me because I don't know Spanish, but I knew that this wouldn't be grammatically correct from their point of view, but it would be enough for you to communicate with people in a simplified way. So I have the pronunciations first, and then the numbers second. I figure that this is the order of importance, and then your subjects, your main subjects, and then your main things that you would need in a survival situation, and then your main descriptions, and then main directions, your main questions, and then the main answers. And then the last page is the group decision making. This is the most important page right here, because none of that means anything. Individual survival is going to be hell. We need to learn how to thrive with each other, and the consensus decision making process is key. And that's basically just teaching us how to take turns in the power positions that it takes to organize decision making with a group, so that there doesn't devolve into hierarchy,
right,
and it can remain actual democracy.
Because I feel like in some ways, like you're doing the first part, which is individual survival.
Yeah.
But like
with the foresight that it's going to become.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about. It's like, let's say, by your definition, shit hits the fan. There's no food left in the supermarket, and people, even from this community, come to you and say, "Aaron, can you help us? Will you help them?"
I'll help them to figure out how to do the things that they need to do to sustainably provide themselves with food. Yeah, but it doesn't make any sense for me to just part out my milk individually, like a cup's worth, if they don't and aren't willing to do what's necessary to go forage first, or aren't willing to butcher their animals that they already have on spot in a way that they share with everyone else. If people are, and this is going to be, there's not going to be any rules as far as this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. It'll be more like I'll take it case by case scenario, because there's so many variables. It will be impossible to say like I will do this or I won't do this with everyone, because everyone's going to be different. I'm going to be reading everything within their actions and their words to know whether it's the right thing to do, because you never want to empower people to do. You never want to just be so nice to people that you are empowering them to continue to be irresponsible. Like you don't want to say, excuse me, daughter, please get out of the road. Don't play in the road. No, you're gonna yell at your daughter to get out of the road, and a lot of people will be like, oh, well, that's fear-based. Well, it's actually also love-based. So it's being realistic. It's being responsible.
What makes you angry?
Angry? When I don't, frustrated, I would say, is when I don't learn the things, I don't enact the solutions that I know from my past mistakes. Like I'm like, I've had this happen to me 3 times already, and I'm not learning quick enough. That's frustrating.
What angers you about people?
That they're not they're not being responsible. They're not being as responsible as I am for, like, procuring their local food security and doing the reasonable things with the given handwriting on the wall, so to speak, the economic handwriting on the wall of poop being able to hit the fan at any moment, and it under their definition was happening with the first lockdown. They were like, oh, food's starting to become more expensive, and now it's not even available, and toilet paper's not even available, and then none of them did anything about, like even planting a garden, which, like a garden is the base thing that you can do as far as a net return of calories. But dairy animals, again, back to the heifer organization, the nonprofit organization, the oldest nonprofit organization in America, their findings, as well as many other people, is that dairy animals, livestock in general, are far more calorically efficient endeavor than gardening or chickens, and specifically the dairy livestock are the highest, the most efficient thing that you can most responsible use of your land is our livestock and dairy livestock specifically. And so it was just it was really frustrating when people I thought that people were gonna have, you know, some kind of a local food renaissance or revolution with that first lockdown and that first food scare, and it didn't seem to scare people enough. So
what do you love about people?
People's grace, their ability to have grace with themselves and with other people, and you know, forgive, but not necessarily like forget. You know, I don't think that forgetting is healthy for anyone. I think that we should treat people as though they, like, if someone screws up, the next time that you run into them, don't hold them to that like a concrete judgment that they are going to be like that the next time. But if they continue to treat you like that, or they continue to act and behave like that, then that is their character in the moment, type of thing. But you never forget that. You always want to when you're evaluating their current state, whether they have changed from that previous state. Because if you don't, then you'll let your guard down and you'll be screwed over. And if you allow yourself to be screwed over, then you're subsequently allowing other people to be screwed over, because you're not teaching that person a lesson that they can't get away with continuing to act like that without it being, you know, noticed and there being repercussions.
Hopefully this will be really validating for you.
Hopefully it'll help encourage other people to consider farmhanding and then consider having.
Well, I think the doctor part and the carbon footprint is going to be really interesting.
That's specifically what you're talking about. Yeah, for sure. Validating.
Because, I mean, that's the only thing. That's the only, because I don't think you've independently done that. You haven't done that yet.
Huh.
You haven't had an independent, you know, expert assess your impact.
Yeah, I tried to take one of those carbon footprints when I first heard it.
It's completely irrelevant.
I couldn't even finish it. I was like, this.
Well, the first question is how do you heat your home?
Yeah,
it's irrelevant to you. Wood isn't even an option.
And I tried to find like keyword search on Google ones that were I don't know, like, I forgot what I tried to search for, but I tried to search for ones that were like third world country carbon footprint tests and stuff like that, and I don't think they make those even. I couldn't find anything. Hello.
How's it going, Aaron?
Hi, Dr. Duncan.
This is new.
Yeah, right.
We're jabbing you in the morning.
Oh, okay.
Right? So we need a fasting blood draw in the morning.
Okay. I intermittent fast. I don't eat till 10 or noon.
So ideally it would be like a 12-hour fast before you draw your blood.
What time are you wanting to draw? 7, 6, 8?
6:45.
Okay, so no eating for the rest of the night?
Absolutely.
Sounds good.
That'd be great.
All right. That'd be good for me too.
We should just do a little bit of a health history. I mean, my understanding is, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you haven't seen a doc in a decade, right? Or a health exam in about a decade?
Yeah, I had knee surgery 20 years ago, and I can't remember seeing a doctor before that even.
Fine. And then, so you've been on some sort of diet. The documentary, I guess, is about some sort of diet, right?
Yeah, dairy-based diet.
Dairy-based diet. So I'm just going to ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
Just about your health, and that'll give me context for your labs.
Cool.
Once we get lab results back, and then we can kind of see if anything comes up.
Good sheep. Stopping for a snack on the side of the road. We got some rose trimmings. Quite the treat for the sheep, because I never let them have people's rose bushes. People never have rose bushes growing out over the road to warrant it. Got Daniel over there following us and filming. He's got a GoPro on the front of the wagon too. It's pretty cool. It fits in the front of the wagon. He actually put that GoPro on my sheep's belly while I was milking her, so it was faced back towards the udder and towards me. I've never thought about doing that angle before. It was really cool. It looked super rad. I say hi to him and stuff, but yeah. I do at some of the schools, but I've never talked to the kids at this school. I don't know how the teachers feel about me. Like at the Montessori school down on the other street, they love me and I talk to the teachers and everything. The teachers buy milk from me. I'm gonna pull over right here and put their poop cups on and give them a drink real quick. I forgot to put on their poop cups. Good shit. Yeah. All right. Wait. Good sheep. Yeah. Good sheep. Yeah. Happy sheep. Yeah. Gotta be sidewalk sanitary. Forgot the poop cups. All right, Happy. You wanna wear this one? Good sheep. Yeah. Good girl, my happy girl, bro. Yeah. There you go. Boop. Boop, snip, snip. This one's a little bit low, so I'm gonna hang it a little bit higher. You don't want it too high and too low. Perfect. All right. Handing out some free sheep ice cream. Getting the sheep some water. I always just thought they were the awesomest couple, and I was just stopping to see if her or any of her employees wanted to try some of the free sheep ice cream.
Love to try some.
Would you like some caramel pear, or maple pecan? Sprouted pecan.
What's your favorite?
Honestly, I don't know. Yeah, definitely tell Ekin we stopped by, and I appreciate them and their food truck, because it was good food, and they were super cool.
Yeah, I definitely.
And hopefully they'll be even cooler. They're having a baby, it looked like.
They are having a baby and opening up the food truck again.
Oh, that's super cool. I was worried that it got burned down, and that's why I hadn't seen them.
It did get burned down.
Oh, but they remade it?
But we got an insurance claim on it, and so we got a brand new truck.
Cool, man. That's
Yep,
super
so
rad.
we're gonna have some-
Food trucks are the best. I just posted that in my latest video. I got a YouTube channel, 123 Home Free, if you want to check it out.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
we were talking about food trucks in there, and about how they always have better food because they have to have better food in order to convince people to buy from those who are socioeconomically below them. You know, it's like restaurants, like, oh, they have to be good, and so people will buy from them and give them the benefit of the doubt. Whereas a food truck,
They really have to.
and they usually 99% of the time do.
I agree. Would you be okay if I took a picture with your sheep?
Yeah, sure. You want a selfie? Yeah.
Yeah.
Try one of those popsicles in your selfie.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good.
Heck yeah, that's made with local pears, the ones that they cut down the
Yeah.
road, the trees. I scavenged those and then juiced them,
Oh my
and
gosh,
then
that's so
and then boiled it down into syrup. It's all with the sheep's milk. Heck yeah. JC was thirstier than everyone. Let's see if the ram wants some more. Heck yeah. And if you ever want to try the sheep milk, I don't have any of that right now because I just brought the ice cream, but I usually have sheep milk.
That's so cool.
And the phone number's on the side.
Yeah, I always see you walking around here. And I'm
Yeah.
like, ah, you've been around the town though for years and years.
Awesome. Yeah, put the other one in the freezer before you try to eat it. Because it's higher cream, it's harder for cream to freeze than it is for the icicle type popsicles. Yeah. Have a good day. We're stopped here
What's here?
it's an honor system.
Oh, really?
It doesn't look like they have much at all though. I don't know what's going on. Usually they have sweet corn. Oh god, no, this is nothing, dude. Bummer. I don't want any of their sugar stuff, any of their jam stuff. Walnuts kind of sound good, but nuts, I already have a bunch of nuts, and I don't like to eat like more than like 5% of my diet in a day having that. All this is
So
gonna.
just say where we're at.
I don't even know what the name of this farm stand is. It's just the closest farm stand that we have. I'll buy a cucumber. That sounds good. I'll eat that straight. I made it. This is my first batch. Maple. Wait. Here it is. See if you can figure out how to untwist it. I stopped twisting them. I just started leaving the little tabs off them so you're not annoyed by them. Throw it over. See, I like that one.
Oh my gosh, you can smell it.
That one is hecka good.
Wow.
That one's creamy, huh? That's like on
Whoa!
that's on par with the Haagen-Dazs, except it's got all the nutrients from being raw milk. It's not like homogenized and pasteurized. And it's,
Tastes like a serious butter pecan.
except it's sprouted pecans, so they're from the co-op in Ashland, so it's like really healthy.
Oh my gosh.
Like super healthy, like fresh raw sheep milk, sprouted pecans, and maple organic maple syrup, like from Vermont. Wow. Super dang. No high fructose corn. No, not even any sugar.
No sugar
No sugar.
in this?
And there's barely any maple syrup in that because the sheep milk, when you try, if you call me or whatever and come back around to try the regular milk, you'll taste it's slightly actually sweet. It's like It's like it's like a higher butterfat cow milk that is noticeably sweeter.
David Holmgren still believes that new habits can and should start at home.
We can't fast track the growing seasons. We can't easily transform buildings from what they already are, but we can change ourselves greatly. Whether what we do actually saves the world from harsh futures, we have no idea, but it's worth doing anyway.